seconds away from the start. 23 laps remain in the European Championship for 2015. We go racing. It is Pex versus Schmitz off the line. It looks like Johansson's going to slot into 4th spot. Let's look out for Petro Hiltbrand back in the field as the field run off wide. They've all made it through relatively cleanly. But it's going to be the local boy, Stan Pex, who will lead lap number 1 from 2 Germans. Alexander Schmitz. Mike Siebeck has made a brilliant start. He's now in position number 3, and then it's Johansson. They go down through the chicane for the first of 23 times here today at Genk. Stan Pex, with nothing to lose, has got a break over Alexander Schmitz. The field slot through down in front of the grandstand, which is getting quite full, as you can see, for this championship decider. Pex. This is the pit corner for the first time. Then it's Schmitz. Johansson, a tighter lines. They come on to the start-finish straight. The order is Pex, Schmitz, Siebeck, Johansson, Complese, Corberi, Babington. Let's look out for Hiltbrand. He's lost 2 places off the start. We can see he's down in position number 16. He will not win the title from there. We will bring you a virtual championship update as the race goes on. We watch Sean Babington is in the second of the energy carts. Number 345, flying the flag for the United Arab Emirates, where he spends most of his time these days racing in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. There, look at that. P16, Petro Hiltbrand from Spain. Number 321 for CRG. He's out of contention at the moment. He's got 22 laps to improve on that. Luca Corberi, the Italian's made a great start. He's now up into position number 5 after getting past Lorenzo Complese. Then it's Babington, Alessio Piccini, Alberto Cavaliere, Jorge Pescadore has definitely got a problem because he's dropped 5 places to be in position number 10. Hiltbrand still in 16th. We watch the fight for the lead. It's Pex from Schmitz. It won't be too long until Schmitz makes a move, which is right now. The German on the inside of the Dutchman. How easy was that? The KSM Racing Team driver, the TKART powered by the Vortex, has gone through into the lead. It is a TKART leading an Intrepid and then a CRG. We bring you the action back live here at Genk in Belgium. Schmitz from Pex. Lifts the inside rear nicely. There's the championship current leader, Joel Johansson. Luca Corberi's driving a great race. He's in 5th. What about Majek Siebeck? Took pole position at the opening round of the series at Naples in Italy. He's powered by a Modena engine. He's up into 3rd, driving the SRP Racing Kart CRG. It's not an official factory team entry. First official CRG is Petro Hiltbrand, who's still down in position number 16. He cannot win the title there. You can see he's one ahead of Maren Kremers, Enrico Bernardotto, Felice Tiene. Well, if he was going to try and help out his teammate, he ain't going to do much from position 19. Felice Tiene won a couple of heats. He's been really quick all weekend, up until now when it counts. Come across the line, your leader, Alexander Schmitz, with 0.4 of a second over Stan Pex. This is a replay of the lead. Pulled out, Stan Pex locked up those 4-wheel discs under brakes. Schmitz nicely done through into the lead. The TKART leads the Intrepid, leads the CRG. There's Joel Johansson. He will win the title if he can just finish in that position. And Petro Hiltbrand does not come charging up through the field. Well, the field's actually settled down a little bit. We had some pretty spectacular racing in the pre-final. Of course, it was a wet track. Brand new LeConte tyres for all these drivers. Joel Johansson in 4th spot, 2nd in 2010, 2nd in the championship a few years later. Energy Course won the European Championship in the hands of Simas Jurvitsis a couple of years ago. They've won the Euro title something like 12 times. Their team boss, team owner, Michele Panigarda, who himself was 2nd in the European Championships way back in, let me see, something like 1994, back when he himself, as a driver, was racing Intercontinental A. Still kicks himself that he didn't stand on the top step of the podium that day. The race won by Narcissus Cullens in a BS car at Gothenburg in Sweden. Corberry has got past this man, Johansson. He's driving a brilliant race. It's now Tony Kart's first and fourth. No, it's Tony Kart's first and third. Oh, he's gone wide. Luca Corberry had it sideways like a sprint car. Johansson has recovered fourth position. Let's see if Corberry can fight back. He thought about it. Didn't want to lose his nose cone. Slots back into fifth spot. That was a big, big moment for the Italian. Had Johansson passed for third spot, let's have a look at the replay. Up the inside, but locked up those brakes. Watch the back of the kart. The front right's up in the air. How spectacular was that? It was like the dirt speedways in the USA. Luca Corberry has recovered, though. He's back in fifth place, but he's got some serious speed in that Tony Kart, as has your race leader, Alexander Schmitz. We watch Alessio Piccini, son of the four-time world champion, Alessandro Piccini. Who else would you want as your mechanic but a four-time world champion in this very category? Alessandro, we just saw him on the pre-grid a few moments ago. His boy Alessio doing a great job behind his Tony Kart teammate. Yeah, running fifth and sixth. Then it's Lorenzo Complesi. Jorge Pescadore from Valencia in Spain has recovered a couple of spots into eighth. Ahead of Andreas Basberg, the third of the Tony Karts. Official entries, that is. Fastest lap of the race for the first round winner from Denmark. This is the battle for third and fourth and fifth. The bottom step of the podium, but from Joel Johansson's point of view, this is the title on the line. CIK-FIA, heavily medicated this weekend. He's not feeling the best physically. He didn't qualify so well at all. He said there's nothing wrong with the kart. There's certainly nothing wrong with the modern engine. But he's picked up some sort of virus since the WSK night edition was held just 7 days ago in Adria, or I should say 8 days ago, because it was a Saturday night race at the brilliant new circuit in northern Italy. So he's been to the doctors, he's got some antibiotics into him, but he's driving a brilliant race. The German is in third, but oh no, mate, that fourth. He's been passed by Johansson. Corberry almost took advantage of that move. That was a brilliant aggressive move from Johansson. We asked him yesterday if he was content just to finish and gain the points for the title. He said no, he wants to win the championship and the race. No such thing as conservatism for the blonde Swede who wants to win this title. He does not want to finish runner-up 3 times. We have a look at the replay. They were 3 wide into the back straight. Corberry thought about it, but he had to slot back in and hold his time. The crowd is building up on the main straight here and in the grandstand here at Genk. The famous circuit that was built way back in 1983. It was modified in 2007 to its current length of 1,350 metres. Host circuit for the 2011 World Championships, and the circuit that is deciding the KZ2 European Championships in just 13.5 laps time. Stan Pex starting to recover a little bit of ground on Alexander Schmitz. The gap is now down to 0.5 of a second. There's Johansson back to CIK-FIA. Corberry, Piccini, Pescadore, Andreas Basberg. Rounding out the top 10 is Lorenzo Complesi and Sean Babington. Petro Hiltbrand, where is the championship leader? He is up into position number 11. The sportsmanship warning flag has come out for Sean Babington, the Energy Kart driver, in position number 10. Pex is getting ever closer to the back of the German. This is a passing opportunity coming up right now, but he's a little bit too far back. Schmitz just works the wheel. Into the final corner. We're coming up to half race distance in a lap or two's time. Schmitz across the line. The gap is 0.25 of a second. Back to Stan Pex. There's the Intrepid kart going through. Of course, a manufacturer that has won the European Championship in the past. Schmitz very ragged over the ripple strip that time. Well, due to make the podium presentation in a few moments' time at the end of this race is none other than Max Verstappen. Who's Max? Well, he's Stan Pex's one of Stan Pex's best friends. Wouldn't that be something else if the Toro Rosso F1 driver would present the winning trophy for this, the final round of the Euro Champs, to his good mate Stan Pex? That's what's going to happen if Stan can hold this position. Alexander Schmitz, speaking of F1, his KSM racing team is now owned by Ralf Schumacher here at the circuit. At most of Euro Championship rounds and pretty much all of the DKM Championship rounds, that's the German Championship. Arguably the strongest national series in the world at the moment. Pex very close to the back of Schmitz. Speaking of the German Championship, they had a round here just a few months ago. Guess who was dominant on that day? Yes, Alexander Schmitz. He took 3 heat wins. He won the pre-final. He did finish third in the final though. But he just had to take that Tony Kart out of the truck, put fuel and air into the tyres, and he was ready to go. He's been on the pace since opening practice in Thursday. Stan Pex, he could drive this track blindfolded. He lives only a few kilometres from Genk here in Belgium. Tighter line that time by Schmitz. Pex is going to get a good run out. In fact, you can see how close he is to the back of the German. Takes a high line. Schmitz lost a little bit of momentum 4 corners ago, and you can see that the Intrepid driver's closed right up on the back of the German. This is a passing opportunity. He's very close to the back of him now. Remember, Stan Pex won the pre-final. We have passed half race distance into the pit corner, up through the gearbox. Is this a passing opportunity now? No. Oh, yes, he is. He left that very, very late. He's gone through on the German. Stan Pex, the local boy, now leads. Alexander Schmitz, the German, is in second spot. And Joel Johansson, the championship leader, sits in third. We thought he'd left his run too late. Schmitz was already turning into the pit hairpin. Stan Pex virtually didn't use the brakes. Let's have a look. He's gone through. They did not touch. There was just millimetres in it. That was just brilliant by the young Dutchman. Schmitz knew he was there. He lost a little bit of momentum half a lap earlier. Stan Pex lined him up about 500 metres before he made the move. He virtually didn't touch the brake pedal. Turned in the inside rear, lifted up. Stan Pex from Holland is your new race leader. Alexander Schmitz is second. Joel Johansson is third. CIK is fourth ahead of Jorge Pescador. Pedro Hilbrand, who led the series coming into this final round, is still stuck in position number 11. As it stands in the virtual championship, Joel Johansson will claim the title that he's been desperate to win for the last 5 years. The Swede has just set the fastest lap of the race as Schmitz gets a little bit sideways on the exit of that corner. Johansson is catching the leaders down the start-finish straight at 142 kilometres an hour. Schmitz the gap to the leader. Let's check it for you on the live timing screen. It is 0.3 of a second. The gap back to Johansson from Pex is 1.2 seconds. Then we go back another 1.4 seconds to CIK Hilbrand. Not even in the top 10 after being brilliant thus far in 2015. There's Complesi coming through. There's your top 10. In fact, it's actually 9th for the Italian, Lorenzo Complesi, who's left the Formula K team since the last round. Now finds himself driving a Paralin kart. Tighter line that time by Alexander Schmitz. Very, very late under brakes is the German. Look at that, bottom of the screen, Felice Tieni. No surprise to see he set the fastest lap of the race. Won a couple of heats yesterday in very warm conditions here in Belgium, but he's way down in position number 14. His CRG teammate, Petro Hiltbrand, number 321, the Max depowered CRG, is stuck in 11th. He cannot win the title from there. Joel Johansson, he's up into position number 3 and closing on the leaders. There's the virtual championship. Johansson will claim it as it stands. Fassberg, who won the first round in Naples, will finish 3rd in the title if the race were to finish now. We've got 5.5 laps remaining. Schmitz has closed the gap considerably. It's down to 0.2 of a second. Oh, here's the move from the German. He responds in the same way, almost, that Pex took him about 5 laps earlier. Waited almost until Pex had turned in. Left his braking very, very late. Very clean move by Alexander Schmitz. He wants to win this, the European Championship decider at Genk in Belgium. Pex has lost about 4 or 5 kart lengths, as you can see as they come through the pit corner. Let's have a look at the replay at the end of the back straight. Nicely done by Alexander Schmitz. Stan Pex gave him racing room. Up over the ripple strip goes the Dutchman. He's 0.2 of a second behind just in that half a lap. But getting bigger and bigger behind them is the Swede, Joel Johansson. He doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to finish 3rd. And the Swede will claim the title for 2015. But he's closing on the leaders. Let's see if he can do anything about claiming a win here today, or will he be content just to take the championship? Behind him, Jorge Pescadore from Valencia in Spain is now up into 4th after dropping back to 10th in the early part of this race. A good lead already. Look at that. Schmitz took the lead, retook the lead, I should say, a lap ago. Going through the final corner now. The gap was 0.288 of a second. Let's have a look this time around 0.4 of a second, and Joel Johansson's getting very, very big behind them. There's Petro Hiltbrand. Finally, the Spaniard comes into view. He's stuck there behind the other energy kart of Sean Babington. We mentioned the tension that was between the CRG and the Energy Course teams here in the paddock. It really hasn't come into play because Joel Johansson is fighting out amongst himself. Petro Hiltbrand, he's back in position 11. He will not claim the title. Joel Johansson, he wants to get up on the top step of the podium. As it stands, he will be on the podium and he will claim the title if nothing changes for the next 4 laps. You saw the virtual championship standings just a few moments ago. He will win it by 3 points if nothing changes. Alexander Schmitz, he's on track for a European Championship win here at Genk in Belgium. Down through the gearbox, accelerating up the back straight, part of the original circuit here at Genk, when the track was only 960 metres long. Gee, we've seen some amazing battles here in Belgium over the years. Country with a strong motorsport heritage going back to the World Championships that were held just up the road, Nivelles in Belgium, way back in 1980. On that day, Peter de Bruin won the World Championship, ahead of a certain Brazilian named Ayrton, who was 2nd on that day, some 35 years ago. Well, the gap is now out to 0.5, almost 0.6 of a second. Jorge Pescadore, the Spaniard, has just set the fastest lap of the race at 52.639. He's 1/10 of a second faster than your race leader, Alexander Schmitz. Johansson is just 0.4 of a second. You can see on your screen he's closing in on the local driver Stan Pex. Schmitz, he's on track to take a victory here. A lap and a half to go for the German. He fully deserves this if he can hold on. There's your championship leader. Chokes that engine. That was interesting. He's getting a little bit concerned. Just covers the airbox. There you can see the virtual championship. He'll take it by 3 points if nothing changes over the next lap and a half. Yes, he just choked the engine, getting a little bit more fuel up into that TM125cc motor. suggests to me that he's playing this a little bit conservative. He's a lap away from taking the title. Alexander Schmitz is half a lap from taking his first ever CIK European Championship round win for KSM Racing. This has been a brilliant performance by the German. Take nothing away from Stan Pex also. Joel Johansson, can he do it? Petro Hiltbrand, he's still stuck down in position number 11. He's behind, ironically enough, Sean Babington, but we're in the final corners. Alexander Schmitz is going to claim his first ever European Championship race win. They accelerate up through the gearbox. The checkered flag goes to Alexander Schmitz, but the European champion is Joel Johansson. He is delighted. He comes across the line in third, but takes the title.